If you're one of those people like myself who has collected family photos, wall art, postcards from your travels, and you have them all tucked away in a drawer or sitting on the floor like mine was, I'm going to show you exactly how to use them to help to personalize your space. Hi, home stars. Welcome and welcome back. I'm Valerie, and I love to create spaces that feel comfy, pulled together, and lived in. So today we're going to pull all those pieces together and create a lovely gallery wall. I will tell you exactly what you need to do to make it look professional when you're done. Now, one of the first things I'm going to mention, of course, are our precious pieces that we have collected over the years. Since we are here, the one thing I want to mention here is that your frames, they don't all have to be the same color. They don't all have to be the same design, the same width. What is nice is if each one of your framed pieces has something that can link back to something else, because we want to have that cohesion, right? For example, my frame here, different designs, but the color is similar. So that makes them more cohesive. It depends also on your decor. If you have a more modern style, then you may want to get streamlined frames that are the same color. But for a more eclectic farmhouse, even a transitional cottage, beachy, you don't have to get frames that all are matchy. Next thing, we need to have a straight edge. We need a square. Now, the straight edge and the square are mostly for squaring off the paper. We'll talk about that in a minute. We need a little hammer, of course, to hammer in our nails or hooks that we will use for our art. Now, in my gallery wall that I did, I use push pins or thumbtacks, wooden thumbtacks. Those are also good if your art is at a size or a weight that you can put them on it, right? And it doesn't pull it down, because they go in nicely in the drywall and I have no issues with my art, right? But as I said, it has to be the appropriate size and weight for you to use those push pins. We're going to need a measuring tape, of course, pencil or chalk, and also painter's tape. One of the biggest things that's going to help us to do a successful gallery wall is paper, right? Like a big piece of paper that can fit all your artwork. The bigger your composition, the bigger your paper needs to be, right? Now you can go ahead and use your painter's tape or any other tape to put pieces of paper together to the size that you need. And one of the things that's going to be very important with the paper is to make sure the top end of the paper is square. Make sure it's straight, right? The sides, not so much. The bottom, not so much. But the top part needs to be square. Before we get into doing the actual gallery wall composition, there are a few principles that I want us to consider when doing our gallery wall. And number one is choose a piece that will anchor your gallery wall, so it becomes the focal of your gallery wall. You build around your focal piece, right? Number two, we can establish a theme. So for example, if we want to use photos from our travels that show different places that we've been to, then that would be a travel theme. We can use nature theme, and that would be like animals and landscape, flowers, right? We can also have a theme, which is a mixed theme. So we can actually mix in our family photos with nature, with travel, because that creates interest. The next thing I want us to be sure to do is measure, measure, measure. Measure once, measure twice. If you have to measure 3 times, do that, because sometimes mistakes are not easy to correct when you're doing like a gallery wall. And that is why too, we're going to do it on the paper first. We're going to make ourselves a template that we're going to put on the wall. And I'm going to show you the easy way to do the template. The space in between the pieces matter, right? So the space that is recommended for your gallery wall to look cohesive and not like they're moving away from each other or like they're too close together, the sweet spot is between 2 and 3 inches between your frames. Last principle I want to mention is balance. We need to consider balance when we are making our gallery wall. We would not want to put all big frames on one side and all small frames on the other side, because it will look and feel imbalanced, right? So that's visual balance we're talking about there. Also, balance in the form of, okay, we wouldn't want to line up all landscaping photos over here and all flowers here. And no, we have to mix them. And so it looks like a story, right? Our gallery wall should actually be telling a story. We are going to begin with the layout. Now, I mentioned that we should choose our anchor, our focal piece. There are 2 ways we can make gallery wall. In terms of layout, we can be symmetrical or we can be asymmetrical. Now, asymmetrical doesn't mean that it's going to be imbalanced, right? Asymmetrical basically means that we're not going to have a reflection on the other side. So a reflection of this side on this side. That's asymmetrical. Symmetrical, we try to lay out the pieces so that they look like they are the same on both sides of our lovely focal point, right? So we place our focal point and then we build out and down and sometimes up. All depends on what you want your gallery wall to look like, right? The first thing I am going to do is I've squared off the top of the paper here, but I'm going to go ahead and I am going to draw a line right across the top. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I am going to go ahead. Another thing is I found the center of my paper, right? So I've drawn the line across and I've found the center of my paper. And I am going to go ahead and use my focal piece to place in the center. And I'm now going to build above it. This is 13 and a quarter. So it's going to be 2/8. So it's going to be 6 5/8 is the midway point. So that's 6 5/8 is right here. Wow, look, what are the chances? It was almost lined up already. There we go. So I'm gonna start positioning the artwork. Now we're gonna go ahead and place the other pieces. I want to put this here. Now we just got to work around and see how we want to lay out our pieces. Okay, here. That's it. I think that's it. So I'm just laying them out right now, roughly, and then I'm going to go ahead. There we go. Now, this one is a smaller one. So what I could do actually, if I wanted to, is bring my focal art or frame down a little bit, and so they're not all lined up across there, and I think that would create a little more interest. So I think that's what I am going to do. I'm not sewing, but I'm gonna get my little measuring gauge here. I'm gonna have to come around to the front of the table, and I think I'm just gonna push this art down an inch because I want to create a little more interest instead of having them lined up straight across. Right? So that's where that's going to sit. And then I am going to go ahead and line these ones up with the line, but I'm also going to have to measure. Now this is 2 inches apart. You can do 2 to 3 inches. I would suggest that if your frames are bigger, then maybe to scale it would look okay going 3 inches spacing, but because my frames are smaller, I'm just gonna go 2 inches between. So that is 2 inches. You could actually even get like a spacer, cut something that's 2 inches and put it in between. You know how you do tiles? And so I am just going to straighten this. That's it. 2 inches, 2 inches. I'm going to do the same thing with this one over here. I'm going to do 2 inches. And I got to go ahead and straighten it at the line. So you place your photos first to see how you want them to be arranged, and then you measure. It's 2 inches. This is gonna be 2 inches. I would also suggest that you stay consistent. So if you're using 2 inches, use 2 inches. Don't switch between 2 and 3. Just use 2 inches or 3 inches in the one composition, right? So, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead, because one of the things we're gonna do is draw a box around our frame. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this box because I need to extend my middle line further down so I can anchor or place this one. Okay, so see, I have my box and I am going to go ahead and draw my middle line further down. There we go. So I can anchor this one. So what I'm going to do now is measure. This one is 11, and so it's going to be 5.5. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's measure 2 inches. Here's 2 inches. And let's measure 2 inches. I'm just going to draw a line across here. There we go. And then let's go back and look for 5.5 inches. There we go. So that one now is in position. Next thing we need to do is, okay, so I know this is where I want this one. This one has 2 little hooks at the back here. That's causing me problems. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just face it down. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to face it down. And I am going to go ahead and measure. Oh, I'm just going to move this away. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is draw the box around this one also. We're good there. Let's do the same thing over here. There we go. So let's get 2 inches down here. That's 2 inches. 2 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a line across. Now, the minute you have placed one of your artwork, 2 of your whatever you have placed, you can go ahead and draw your line. Not your line, sorry, your outline of the piece that's going to be in that space. And make sure you don't mix them up. So you could say, for example, this is number 1. If you're working with a lot, especially, this is number 2. And you just get a piece of painter's tape. You just put it on and you write number 2 on that. You write number 1. Number 3, number 4. So that's number 3, number 4. If you don't have a table that you can do this on, you can actually put it on the floor. Find somewhere on the floor to put it. Now let's do this. Let's do 2 inches here. And 2 inches here. And then I'm going to draw a line. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take my art. I'm going to line it up with this line here. And then I'm going to push it all the way over to this line here. There we go. And then I'm going to draw my outline. There we go. So this is number 5. And then we are going to do this one, and we're going to do the same thing. We are drawing 2 inches down. On the other side, 2 inches down. Connector marks. Oh. Then over here, 2 inches and 2 inches. Then we're gonna connect our marks. Now it will take a little time, but believe you me, it is worth it. DIY can look professional too. Number 6. Okay. Our next step is to find where our nails or hooks are going to be. Right? Now, we are gonna find the halfway point, which is right here, right? We did halfway. Let's just double check. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is take our artwork just like so, and we are gonna measure up like so, because this is how it's gonna hang. So we want to find out how far down to put our nail, and this is 1 3/4, right? So we measure 1 3/4 inches from the top. That is where our nail or hook is going to go. Next is number 2. Number 2, our hook is right here. And so what we're gonna do is the midpoint, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 1 2 3. So here is the midpoint. Yeah, there's a little bulge there. So what we're gonna do is, as tiny as it is, we have to measure it. So from the top to that is just about 3/8. This thing on the measuring tape is messing me up, so I'm gonna put it from 1. So that's 1 2 3/8. So it is 3/8. So we're gonna measure down 3/8 from the top hair of our outline. That's 1 2 3/8. So our nail is going right here. Next is number 5. Staying alive. Number 5. Okay, so that's 8 3/4, and 3/4 would be 1. So half of 8 is 4. Half of 3/4 would be 3/8. So that's 4 3/8. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna measure 4 3/8. 1 2 3. I'm gonna put my little mark there, and then I am gonna line up my square with the top edge just to get a little line down the center here. And then I'm gonna go ahead, take the measuring tape, hook it back here to see where to put our mark on the line. And it's gonna be 1 1 2 3/8. 1 3/8. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure down 1 2 3/8. So this is where our nail is going. Now we need to measure from the top. That is right here. That's 1 2 1 2 3/8. So we measure 3/8 of an inch down. So that's 1 2 3/8 of an inch down. This is where our nail is going. It's worth doing your template. And when you do your template, you can actually do it one day, and then the next day you can hang your photos if it's too much for you in one day. And we're gonna go ahead and measure to see how far down that is 1 1/4. No, that's not a quarter. That's 1 3/16. 1 3/16. So we'll measure down 1 3/16. I'm gonna measure again just to make sure. Yeah, 1 3/16. So I measure 1 1 2 3 16. So this is where our nail goes. So we've done all of our frames. Now that we have mapped out everything, our template is finished. The next step is to get it up onto the wall and make sure it lines up and looks just like we designed it. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through step by step so that when you are done doing your gallery wall, it will look professionally done. If you found this helpful, make sure you hit subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again on Sunday for part 2. You take good care now. Mwah.